Measuring and drawing angles. The first thing you need to do if you're going to measure an angle is to estimate the size of an angle. It always helps to know if you're close at the end. When I look at this angle, I can see that this angle is much bigger than a square corner. So I know, since I know that an angle with a square corner is 90 degrees, a right angle, then I can think about this angle must be larger than 90 degrees. So I know that A wouldn't be a good answer choice. I also know that a straight line is 180 degrees. So I know that this is smaller than a straight line. So this would have to be either 95 or 150. The first thing that I'm going to do is place my protractor, that's the tool that I use to measure angles, on top of the angle. The very center, or the aim, of the protractor needs to be on the point that is shared by the two rays to make the angle. Next, I need to line up the bottom ray with 0 degrees. Notice that that bottom ray is pointing to the 0 that's on the outer group of numbers on the protractor. I'm going to follow the numbers up from 0, so that means that I'm using the top set of numbers, all the way until I come to the second ray for the angle. Since the second ray is on 150, I know that this angle is 150 degrees, and the correct answer is C. Let's do one more. Estimate the size of this angle. I can see that this angle is smaller than an angle with a square corner, or smaller than a right angle. So I know that this angle has to be less than 90 degrees. So C and D could not be a possible answer choice. I know that the correct answer choice must be A or B. I'm going to place the aim on the vertex, which is the point shared by the two rays in the angle. I'm going to line up the bottom ray with 0. Notice that this time the angle is pointing to the inside 0. So I'm going to use the inside row of numbers this time instead of the group of numbers that are on the outside. I'm going to follow the numbers up from 0 until I get to the second ray. Here's the second ray. I see that it is between 40 and 50. So the angle has to be larger than 40 but smaller than 50. The best estimate for this angle is 45 degrees. B. Each time you measure an angle, follow these steps. Use a protractor, that's the tool we use to measure, and we measure in degrees, that's the unit that we measure for angles. Place the center or aim on the vertex. Line up the bottom ray with 0, and follow the numbers from 0 up. Always be sure to pay attention whether the 0 is in the outer group of numbers or the inner group of numbers, so that you're looking at the right number for the measure of the angle. Otherwise, looking at this one, if I didn't follow it from 0, I might think this angle is 120 degrees. But if I follow up from the 0, counting up on the outer numbers, I know that I should use it. We can also use a protractor to draw angles. Since an angle is made from two rays that share a vertex, we can start by drawing a ray. It's always good to use a straight edge. You can even use the straight edge of your protractor to make sure that your line is straight. So you draw your ray. I'm going to place the protractor on the ray with the aim on the end point of the ray. Then I'm going to line up the bottom ray with 0. So the end point is on the aim and the other end of the ray is on 0. Now I want to draw a 65-degree angle. So what I'm going to do is follow from the 0 that the bottom ray is touching and follow up until I get to 60. And I know that 65 is in the middle between 60 and 70. So I'm going to place a dot outside my protractor between the 60 and the 70. Then I'm going to use the straight edge from my protractor to draw a line, the end point of the first ray, to the new point that I've drawn. I'm using my protractor to keep the line straight. Now I can remove my protractor and I have a 65-degree angle.